Enzo Maresca has been sprinkling his magic in the Premier League, and today we are going to be recreating his 4-2-3-1 inside of FM24. If you do enjoy the tactics, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And once again, if you do enjoy rebuilds, we are going to have a Chelsea rebuild coming out using this tactic. So make sure you get yourselves over to Daily Josh and hit subscribe before that comes out, because if you like Chelsea or if you like rebuilds, it's going to be the perfect video. Let's go and see how we done with the Mighty Blues. Come on, Chelsea! Come on, Chelsea! First up, we are going to have the Premier League, where we absolutely took over a really strong season. 30 wins, 6 draws and 2 losses. Yes, it's not a flawless season. Are we expecting a flawless season? No, we are not. However, Nkunku and Jackson are going to be in the top goal scorers. Cole Palmer, a little bit cold. I'm never doing that again. The best player in the Premier League, in my opinion. I absolutely love him, and I am a United fan, so I'm not being biased. No one can say I'm being biased. He is such a good player. I absolutely love watching him. What a player. It is the Cole Palmer show. Sanchez also picks up the most clean sheets. A very, very strong season where we are going to feature in a few of the stat lines. The most goals, the most shots, the fewest shots against, the fewest conceded, and the most clean sheets. And possession-wise, very, very good as well. Sat in third place, just 2% behind Man City and 1% behind Arsenal. But I would happily sacrifice a couple of percent of possession for a ton of more goals and, yeah, the Premier League title. So we'll have some of that, Man City. Going over to the data hub, we can go and see a staggering 2.87 goals per game, 0.45 conceded, a great pass completion, over 20 shots a game, which is a very high amount compared to the average, and a very solid tackle-win ratio. But we did win other stuff, and we won it all. We did win the Europa Conference League 2-0 over Fiorentina, the English FA Cup, we are going to win 1-0 over Liverpool, a very close game right there, and the Carabao Cup, we win on penalties over Everton. So despite a little bit of a scrappy final here, the rest of it was done in fashion. What a season. We'll watch a game against another London team. This is a 7-0 win at home against West Ham, who are not enjoying a great season. But I thought, you know what? Let's show this game. Might not be the most competitive, but you can see where the goals come from, how the goals look, and just the overall play. And I will say, this tactic goes toe-to-toe with some of the better ones I have posted from a mixture of things. If you get my set pieces as well, you're going to cook. Cole Palmer there with the Panenka down the middle. I'm going to do it again. It's getting a little bit chilly in here. And as you can see, it's getting a little bit ridiculous in here. One more goal to come to wrap up a 7-0 win over West Ham. And I mean, it's him again. I'm going to completely flip the script and save the powerhouse to the last bit of the video. We're now going to test with the weaker team, Real Haspalis. Predicted 11th, we finished 2nd. Yes, it's not a league win, but at the end of the day, it is a very, very strong season, regardless of not winning the actual division. We do win the Spanish Cup 3-2 over Real Madrid, showcasing that you can go toe-to-toe with the big teams in this division. I will say, this whole season was done using the defensive version of the tactic. The Chelsea was the default. This is a defensive version. The powerhouse, of course, is going to be the attacking. We get knocked out by ourselves, so I'm not really going to count that, to be honest with you. But overall, we've still got a lot of players in the stats here. Joint first place for clean sheets. Vitor Roque, of course, on loan with 27 goals. And Isco picking up the most assists, the former Real Madrid man. And the fascinating thing, we're not really that far behind Madrid in terms of goals. Defensively, 2nd place there. 1st place for clean sheets, and actually both of them, a very, very strong season. And I imagine the data hub as well, it's very good. Yes, a slight, not much difference to be honest, but a little bit less on the goal region, a bit more on the conceded, but we are an underdog team, so it is to be expected. The pass completions there, a good tackle-win ratio. Honestly, it's a great season. I mean, I would take that any day. Now over to the attacking version with Paris Saint-Germain. A little bit of the French twang there, where we do win the quadruple, the Trophy des Champions, the French Cup, the Champions League on penalties, and the French League. Now, the Trophy des Champions, we're going to win 3-0 over Monaco. The French Cup, we're going to lift 6-0 over FC Lorient. I'm going to stop with the French twang now. And the French League, we come out and absolutely storm it. 33 wins, 1 draw. We are PSG, and I am aware of this, okay? But that still is a redonkulous season with players dominated in all regards, and the stats, I imagine, are brutal. They're brutal. Most possession, most goals, most shots over 1,000. 1,000. We're having 63% of the ball and 1,000 shots. We are absolutely taking over football. Fewest conceded and the most clean sheets. You need to go and get this tactic, because if you're playing as a powerhouse, make sure you're using the attacking version, because you're going to have endless fun. Now, the data hub we can go and see is staggering 4.76 goals per game, 0.35 conceded, close to 30 shots a game, a great pass completion, and an amazing tackle win ratio. This right here, this is French heritage. This is insane. And that French Cup final was absolutely, well, it was a battering, wasn't it? I mean, putting it bluntly, we go 1-0 up in 5 minutes. The set pieces, again, if you haven't got them, go and get them, because you can see how good they are here. I mean, genuinely, the amount of goals we get from my set pieces is absolutely unreal. A good bit of press there and a bit of an error as Kolo Muani is going to go alone and finish it from that tight angle as well. Very surprising as another set piece comes in and a great goal. And I believe time for one more. There is time for one more. The last kick of the game. Dembele on the left-hand side in the middle. Too easy. Now, of course, over to your favourite part of the video. That is going to be the tactical breakdown. If you are enjoying back home, a like would mean the absolute world, and a subscription would literally give me a Christmas present. So make sure you are subscribed, because we've got tactics all the way up until FM25. Then when the game drops, we've got even more. So if you're going to be locked in, make sure you also whack that notification bell. But to make this tactic, all you want to do is load in a create your own style and simply select this 4-2-3-1 and let's get crafting. Now, big and important thing here. The mentality is going to be all the way up to attacking, so make sure you have that selected right away. We are now going to go through and talk about some of the player roles, starting with the sweeper keeper, who is simply going to be set to defensive. A nice and simple start with no real fussy stuff going on. Nice and basic player role. We are then going to operate with 2 ball-playing defenders, who on this occasion actually have 0 instructions. So, nice and simple. Now, there's only one role you can really use for a Chelsea backline, especially in this system, and that is going to be either the inverted fullback or wingback. For me, I see them more as wingback, so we are going to have 2 of them as inverted wingbacks, both on support, and both of them are going to share the same instruction. That instruction: get further forwards. Now, without this, it can become a little bit negative in the default tactic, so I would recommend actually making sure this is 100% on. And if you can't play inverted wingbacks, don't write this tactic off, guys. You can play a wingback, normal wingback, and tell them to sit narrow and get forwards. It won't be exactly the same, but it will still work to a very good degree. I do want to quickly say, if you want to get access to all 3 of these tactics, get them on console and on mobile, and all of these wonderful perks, including access to all of my rebuilds and my entire tactic collection, you can come over and join the Patreon, where we've got a 20% deal off all the way up until Christmas. So if you want to join, this is literally the perfect time. 5 people won £100 yesterday. We've got a bigger giveaway coming up in literally about 2 days. So make sure you're coming on over, because you can get your hands on a fair bit of cash and a great new year for you. But let's carry on and talk about this team then. So we are going to go over to the DM, who is actually going to be our DM, but he's not going to be on defend. He is going to be on support, and he is now going to be set on the right-hand side with tackle harder. Now, the idea to this player here is literally just to support the back line, don't really push up too much, be aggressive in the challenge, hence the tackle harder, and just win the ball back as quickly as we can, because next to him, we've gone with a bit of spice. A Segundo Volante is going to come in, and he is going to have 1 instruction, and that is simply going to be moving to channels. So, again, no emphasis on getting further forwards, although he does get forwards a little bit, but of course, you know, he just helps that midfield have a little bit of balance, you know, not too negative, we're not too attacking either, and to be honest, it's literally the perfect role, to be honest. Now, going up the pitch a little bit, we are going to go with that advanced playmaker. Of course, this is where Cole Palmer plays alongside of some games on the right-hand side as well. But for this individual role, we're going to have 3 instructions. Get further forwards, moving into the channels, and also roaming from the position. You want this player to be very fluid. Loads of confidence, roam about, pick up the ball, move into different pockets of space, link up the play, make sure he has that creative freedom. If he doesn't, don't even play him. He needs to have that creative freedom. Now, going over to the left, we are going to go with that inverted winger, who is going to be set to attack, and he is going to have some key instructions. The first one, if you watch Chelsea, you'll know they always do this far post business, so that always will be the scenario. We are going to go with far post, which obviously locks that in. We are also going to have him set to tackle harder. So that is going to be 2 instructions. This instruction here, though, guys, I cannot stress how crucial it is. If you want to play like Enzo, you need to have it on, so make sure you've got it on. We are also going to go over to the inside forward on the right-hand side onto attack, and he also is going to have a couple of instructions. The far post obviously will always be the same, stay wider, and also tackle harder. So just the one more instruction compared to, of course, the left-hand side. Going up to complete this immaculate team, it is going to be the complete forward, who is simply going to be set to attack on the default instruction, so nothing really too much to talk about in that regard. Just a player here who can obviously link up the play, similar to a deep line before, but of course a little bit different, but it's suited Nkunku down to the absolute T. Going over to the in possession, we are going to go instantly and set this attack and width to fairly narrow, pass into the space, focus down the left and the right hand side while deploying the low crosses. We are also going to whack the tempo up by 1 to slightly higher and the passing down by 1 to shorter. So pretty nice and simple to copy so far. In transition, counter press and counter, pretty common sense. Play into anyone across the back line while simply rolling the ball out. And lastly, out of possession, we are going to deploy the higher defensive line with the high press line of engagement much more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and get stuck in. You might be saying, Josh, he plays a much higher line. I would argue it, firstly, but also I save that for the attacking version so you don't overcommit when you go into your games. You want to go in with a lot of firepower, but also a plan B, which is where this comes in. The attacking version to get back into a game, or if you're playing as a powerhouse, you can play this tactic literally from minute 1. Now, the goalkeeper and both of the ball players remain exactly the same. The inverted wing-backs also remain the same because they were simply so damn good. We didn't need to change anything. The Roman playmaker does come in to add a little bit more of a creative spark in the midfield. Again, not too attacking. We're not going to have 2 attacking Volantes, for example. We have got one coming up, but this player simply a Roman playmaker on support, on tackle harder. The Volante on attack, on move into channels. The shadow striker comes in to help bump up the goals, to be honest, and it will actually, in some areas of the game, look like you're playing a 4-2-4 because the shadow striker will push up and almost merge with that advanced forward. He's on Rome. The inside forward on the right, cross aim far post, stay wide and tackle harder, and exactly the same as the default for the inverted winger. And because we are trying to chase a goal now, and score as many, we are going to use the broken role in the advanced forward because he can move into channels, he can get in behind, and he is just an absolute nightmare. It is by far the best role to use when you're talking about strictly goal outlet. Now, going over to the in possession, by the way, all of this is still going to be set to attacking. We have not gone very attacking, just attacking. The attacking width is going to go down to fairly narrow. We're going to pass into the space, underlap left and underlap right, while focusing down the left and the right hand side of the pitch. The final third is of course still going to be low crosses. This occasion, be more expressive, the tempo maxed out to higher, and the passing down by 1 to shorter. In transition, a very similar vibe, counter press, counter, play to anyone across the back line while rolling the ball out, and lastly, of course, distributing quickly. And out of possession, you probably would have been expecting this a fair bit. The much higher defensive line finally gets deployed, gets stuck in, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and also a maxed out trigger press. Now that is perfect for a big team, or of course get back into a game, but you also need this. This is needed to obviously defend a game out with, or, as you saw with Real Haspalis, play an entire season with a weaker team. So now the goalkeeper, both of the ball players do remain the same. The inverted wingbacks simply both go on defend now. No getting forward, simply do your job, as Roy Keane would say. Sit deep and defend, defend, defend. We also secure this back four with 2 very defensive roles. A ball-winning midfield player on support on pass at short. A DM on support, pass at short, hold position and tackle harder. The inside forward goes to support on pass at short, stay wide and tackle harder. The inverted winger back to support, pass at short, get forwards and also tackle harder. The AP in the midfield on support, cross less, roam, move into the channels and pass it short, and the complete forward drops back to support as well on pass it short. Now this will sacrifice a lot of the goals, but in terms of possession and pass completion and just overall control, you're going to be having a field day with this tactic. Now the mentality goes all the way back to balance now, so we are going down a fair bit and we do look to really compress this team into a narrow package. We're going to focus down the left and the right, and this time play out from the back, more comfortable on the ball. The final third is still going to be set to low crosses, but this time we're going to dribble less and have the passing all the way down to much shorter, which lowers the tempo to slightly lower. In transition, we're going to counter press and slow the pace down. Again, think sensible. We are also going to play to anyone across the back line now because, of course, they are quite deep. And we are going to look to roll the ball out. And to secure this up, you might be thinking, Josh, a little low line? No. We still are going to have the high press and the high defensive line because I tried it on a standard line. We didn't really get high enough up the pitch, to be honest. Much higher is way too up. A higher is a nice level of the ball, or position, sorry, for the team. And you really do dominate the ball very well. Anything other than that, it's a little bit ropey, to be honest, so I would recommend sticking to exactly what you see. And that's going to give you, boys and girls, 3 variants of Enzo Maresca's 4-2-3-1, a default version, an attacking version, and a defensive version, all before Christmas, which hopefully you have enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day, and if you're watching this after Christmas, I hope you had a good one. See you in the next one.